All right, what's going on, everybody? This video, I'm going to be talking about the Fed's actions, the effect of what he's done the last year, what to expect this year, and why he's looking at what he's looking at. Also, one of the most important things is how this will affect housing. This is applicable to wherever you are, but I am a Santa Barbara realtor. I'm with Berkshire Hathaway, and I'm happy to help with any of your needs across the nation. Please feel free to throw any questions, comments, concerns, or if I am missing anything in this video, please throw it below. All right, without further ado, let's get into these articles here. This first one on the left, we see nearly all Federal Reserve policymakers rallied behind a decision to further slow the pace of interest rate hikes at the U.S. Central Bank's last policy meeting, but also indicated that curbing unacceptably high inflation would be the key factor and how much further rates need to rise. So everyone knows this. The Fed is watching inflation to determine how much further he will hike these rates. The last report, CPI came in hot, so higher than expected, and that was not good for the markets. They did not like that. They want to see follow through to the downside. It is slowly trending down, but still over 6%, which is not good. Their target is way below that. So they want to see much more downside. To the right, we see the minutes reference to inflation risks as a key to policy means recent data, showing less progress than hoped for. So again, they're just a lot further behind than they thought they would be. They thought inflation would curb down much more rapidly, and they're not getting that. So you see in the second paragraph of this article, recent inflation data and upwards revision to earlier figures means the upside risk to inflation cited by policymakers in the minutes are clearly much higher today than they were when the FOMC last met. This is a great thing to look at because it can just tell you that they're going data point to data point, meeting to meeting. They can't give us certainty to what the next rate hike will be or what the data will be. The jobs report came in a couple of weeks ago, almost 5x than what they expected, 500,000 versus 100,000. So that just is another example. It's data point to data point. This market, whether it be the stock market or housing, is very data driven. So that's just something to look out for. The biggest thing, obviously, that this is affected in the housing market, or how the housing market has gotten affected, is mortgage rates. Applications are at the lowest level since 1995. And this is a really different time, different environment, because this time of the year is typically when purchase activity ramps up. But over the last couple of weeks, with rates going up almost 1%, that takes away 10% of people's buying power. So financial markets will have to just continue to digest this data that is being released weekly. This is going to sideline a lot of different buyers that have been on the sideline and maybe jump back in, or first-time home buyers specifically. Any finance-heavy purchase is going to be sidelined if they can't make it work. So seeing a visual to what this has done to mortgage rates, I'll show that in about 2 slides. This next one, though, you can see the minutes showed the Fed navigating towards a possible endpoint to its current rate increases. I'm going to stop right there because people are looking for a pivot, a pause, for the Fed to just stop hiking rates the next meeting. It seems that's a bit premature. As you can see here, the slowing the pace in order to more cautiously approach a possible stopping point, while also leaving open just how high rates will ultimately rise in the event inflation does not slow. So you can tell they're setting themselves up for data-driven events so they can react accordingly. But they're not in a spot to be pausing or pivoting. That is way out. I don't see that until 2024. Okay, here's the graph I was talking about. Rates go up, applications go down. We're at 147, the lowest level since 1995, and rates are back at the highest level since November. 6.62 on the graph, 6.82 as I record this video. Expect them to surpass 7 in the coming weeks. But just a really crazy visual you can see. And one thing to note also is when we've been at this level in the past, we have seen a jump in activity. But moving forward with rate hikes on the table, it's just uncertain right now to what to expect this spring when it's normally such a seasonally strong period. All right, this is just something I found super interesting. This is specific for the Santa Barbara area. Super easy to look up Google Trends. You can reset it or make it specific to your area. You can see January 5th, 2020, level set about 50, and got all the way up to 100 during COVID. And now we're back to that 50 level. So back to returning to that mean, the average area for these searches, just another thing to look at that can give you good insight. Next is showing time. We don't specifically use this in Santa Barbara, but other markets use it to schedule showings. It's a great thing to look at because you might not see these type of things on paper, like sales and whatever else it might be, but you can see overall in the West region down 52%. So you can see not many people out shopping. There's less inventory, but the inventory is not far off, at least in Santa Barbara, not far off what we were seeing, during COVID. Okay, Central Coast. This is getting a little bit more specific now. Sales down about 35%. Home values down about 3%. Here in Santa Barbara, for single family homes in Santa Barbara specifically, we're right around that range. You can see unsold inventory, 3.5 months. Pretty much what that means, if there's no new homes to come on the market, that's how much we have left before we run out. Next is specific to Santa Barbara. These are our active listings. You can see down 11%, new listings down 24%. Our median list price is up 3%, and our median sales price, which might not be on here, I don't know if it's in the next slides, but it's down about 2% year over year. Properties that went into escrow down 35%. So the number of people signing contracts down that much, pretty staggering. Home sales, just another visual, another way to look at it. See all the way back, this dates to 2011 is that first data set. You can see that we are at a very low number. We've spiked up a little bit. That downturn right before the end of the year is normal, and we're starting to see an uptick, but with rates increasing at the velocity of which they have in the last couple of weeks, it'll be interesting to watch that going forward. The next one is just the same kind of visual of sales inching up, but remaining near 2007 Great Recession levels. So you can see every time that we see such a downturn in sales like this, what happens after that? We see a huge uptick in it. Who knows what will happen this time? It's much different, but history does not always repeat itself, but it does tend to rhyme. Okay, this is 2022 home sales from February 1st to February 23rd. Just a visual, you can see all the different homes. Obviously, it's just a blue dot. And then here is this year up to the 23rd, which is today. Got that right. Okay, so pretty crazy visual. I'll go back and forth again. You can just seeing it in many different ways. I'm a visual learner, so I just like to see it like this. It can give you a good grasp on the state of the market. Jerome Powell, this is a result of money printing man. We will continue to keep all eyes on the Fed. It'll be quite a time when we don't have to watch these different meetings, but they're so important to know, and it's so important to have a realtor that has insight to what this man is talking about and doing, because he has reiterated how his focus is on the housing market, and what he's doing, he wants to see affect the housing market. So I'll continue to be updating different things like this, especially after the next Fed meeting, and doing monthly reports on what is happening specifically here in Santa Barbara. And the big question, will we see a crash? We're gonna have to see a lot more inventory come on to see home prices come down. We're sitting about a little over a month of inventory here in Santa Barbara. And with that number, there's just not enough inventory to see home prices fall down significantly. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you found anything interesting or valuable, if you learned anything, let me know in the comments below. If I missed anything, please let me know and I'll make sure to add it in the next video.